Hi everyone, I'm Anushka and today I'm joined by Vilen and we're going to be having a little chit chat about a couple things. And the first thing that we want to talk about is that you've been on a detox for 2 years. So how does it feel to come back?
It's good. It feels more refreshing. Yeah, so I think that worked. that
I'm glad.
that whole detox worked.
So why do you go on a detox in the first place?
See, why everyone should go on a detox is like it's necessary for you to understand where you are right now and what you are doing, because if you're just driving when you're blind, it's really hard to drive. You can get into accidents, and if you know how you're driving, you can see things where you're going, you have a destination, it's quite easy to do that. So for all that clarification in our thoughts and in our process and where we are, where do we want to go, it clears it up, and you can see better than you would see in a rush of things, because when you're doing a lot of things all together, like also from being a creator and in other fields as well, it gets really clustered, all the work, and you start to lose yourself why you're doing this, and is it worth it, is this making me happy. So all that clears it up, and you can then do the things which are necessary. So basically,
Right, so it's like taking a step back and just
yeah,
everything
just
becomes
realizing where you are
a little
and what you're doing.
clearer.
Yes.
Right, right. Interesting. So while you were on detox, were you not doing music at all? Were you working on other things? What were you exactly
I
doing?
was, see, like it was COVID, right? In those 2 years. So it was a very bad time for a few people, and I'm very sorry for that. But actually, for me, it was a really great time. And I'm sorry. But like, it was all my part. Like, I don't want to work where I have the privilege. Like, I cannot work on that privilege. Like, I cannot counter that privilege. I should avail it if I have it. So I was availing it, and it was not like I was not doing anything at all. I did a few things, but not like how I used to do things. Like, I took a step back from mobile phones and stuff like that, but I was still in my head. If you're a creator, you don't have to, be there and think about it. It just comes.
It
So
comes
that was
naturally,
there.
huh?
But yeah, I was on detox on a certain things which I was doing back then, like physically. But yeah, it all went that way.
Right. It's very interesting how you say ki you had the privilege of, taking a break or taking 2 years off because 2 years it's a long time.
It is a long time,
It's a
yes.
long time. So for a lot of people, a lot of creators, honestly, including me, I don't think I have the liberty कि मैं 2 साल I just step away from work. So for people who want to take a break, but they can't do like a long break, what would you say? How would you say?
See, detox doesn't work like you have to take a really long break. Like 2 years is stupid. All right. So it was stupid. It's just that I could, so I did.
Yeah.
But it is actually stupid to take a detox of 2 years. You don't need a detox for 2 years. You can take 1 hour detox in one day, right? You can do it in weeks, like few 1 day in a week and stuff like that. You just need that sense of a detox, like where you can feel that you are actually detoxed, right? There are times when I don't necessarily need a detox. I did that because I could. That is
Right.
it.
Right.
It was not really necessary. I was not under pressure. I was not feeling burdened, because I am very slow with my work. So I was already at peace. But the detox works when you allow it to work. If you're thinking in a certain way, like you want a detox, and if you have 5 minutes, you can be detoxed in those 5 minutes.
Right.
And if you're talking about a loop of situations, like when dopamine hits and we're getting on it, like for creators, it's a bit messy situation where they go on the phones and they're
Right.
hitting
Yeah.
dopamine so much that they cannot do without it. Like,
Exactly.
if you hit dopamine to a certain level, it's not going to come back to the same level. It will drop down.
Obviously.
So then you have to keep up. To keep up, you will have to increase the stuff you're doing. Like if it is gaming, if it is just Instagram or whatever it is. So to match that situation now, you have to do more.
Right.
To keep this leveled, this structure leveled, you need detox.
Right.
So for that, like for scientifically detoxing yourself from dopamine and other hormones to kick in
Right.
too badly, you have to take step, and you should understand where this becomes a habit and you are bound to it now, you are addicted. You should break that addiction. It is just
Right.
that you have to break the addiction. If you're addicted, you're a slave. You don't want to be a slave.
So, one thing I want to ask you, what is personally for you? So,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. You had a tough week,
Yeah.
a hectic week. You're going to have a hectic week next week. You're traveling, shows, whatever.
Yeah.
You want to take a detox. You need a detox. So, say for example, if you want to take 1 day off with the mindset ki detox karna hai, what do you exactly do? Not like a general
No, I
ki
get it.
this or that, but like
Yeah.
what do you do? What does Vilen do?
So, like I just talked about how dopamine and other hormones work, they go below the
Yeah.
boundary line. So, when you're onto it, it is just about how you're perceiving things. Like, if I'm doing shows and all that other stuff, if I'm too overwhelmed with that, it will shoot me up. Like, the dopamine and serotonin, oxytocin, everything will shoot up, and then it will fall down. But if my perception is right, I will see everything like a flat line. Like, it will not
Right.
hit me up. You will never see me like too excited or too sad. I'm just like in a same pace. So it is about perception also. Like, if you're getting things in your head in a certain way, they're gonna affect you in a certain way. If you don't want that, you want it to be plain and simple as it is, you should look at it as it is. If you think this is too big of a moment, and if you think like I'm sitting with you, it's too big for me, so it doesn't get that way. You're a person, I'm a person, we're sitting here, so it becomes a flat line. If I'm too excited to be here, I'll go back home, I'll drop back. So it
It's
is
like
about more about
not
perception. Yes.
attaching that amount of
Yeah.
value
Yeah, to
to
yourself
like a
and to your
moment or
things
whatever.
you're doing. Yes.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
And that is why I also tell people that the mediocre life is the best life, and if you go on two highs and lows, it is very hard to manage
Manage
all
it.
that
Yeah.
psychologically and feel healthy and happy about it. So it is best to stay like on the line. Like, don't
Yeah.
feel overwhelmed, don't try to do stuff so much that you have to keep up with the
Yeah.
adrenaline and the dopamine and all of the
And
stuff.
also
Like,
because I feel like, sorry to cut you off, but like
please.
high,
Please do.
but I feel like, higher the high hits you, like as happy as you can be, that's
Yeah.
exactly like as low as also you're
Of
going to
course,
be.
of course, yes.
So it's like you can either swing in those really extremes and never be able to balance
Yes,
yourself, or
yes.
you can just sway in the
Yeah.
ways of life. That's
See,
interesting.
if you can, like, if you can see things like as it is very easy to for you to do this, because I'm in a swing. Like, things happen, then things don't happen. Like, I don't have like a particular office to go to or a thing to do. I'm at home for like weeks, and I'm on go for weeks. So if I can see things, as they are, it doesn't get messy, and I don't feel the urge to do something now because I'm at home and I'm not doing anything, but my hormones are kicking me, do something, you need to do this for
You need
survival.
the thrill.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah, yeah.
chase the next high.
So
Yeah.
if you can do that, good enough. If you cannot, you can always look for it. Plus, you can ease down things. Don't go for higher ones all that much. Don't go out, because like people go for, like, they want to earn money and earn this and that. So for that, they do a whole lot of stuff. But why do you need money? For comfort. If you're not comfortable, how does it matter if you have the money or not? If you have money,
Beautiful.
you will attach a whole lot of things with you, and you will have to do a certain stuff. Like, you cannot back out, and you have a lot of responsibilities. So you should have the right mind to keep that in balance. Like, you should have your own space even then, because if
Right.
you're not comfortable, money is not going to make you feel comfort, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I want to ask you, we hear a lot of talks about mindfulness, and we're aware that you are very aware. So,
Hopefully.
how do you, no, I'm aware. How do you ground yourself? What is something that you do to stay mindful?
Right. So, see, I'm not God, and it is very hard for me as well. Sometimes it gets hard. So, what I do is, the things I am doing on a regular basis, I just completely stop doing that, right? And, you know, keep, it's like detox only, but with not digital, but from other aspects. So, if you stop doing that, your willpower kicks in, and it is always, you know, there if you want to use it. So if you are practicing your willpower, it gets really easy to, you know, be there, be mindful and be conscious what you are doing. Being conscious is really important. If you're actually working, everybody is working, but for work perspective, you have to be conscious what you're doing and why you're doing it, because otherwise it will get messy. There's no question about it.
Right. So, how do you bring more positivity to your life?
Ah. See, you don't have to bring positivity, it is there. Like, there was a time, I'll just tell you, I was not like this always, of course. So, I've been through stuff, I've been sad, I've been depressed, I've been like depressed clinically, not like Instagram depressed. So, I've been through all that stuff. So, I am aware how it gets for other people who are watching me and saying this is bullshit. But what was the question again?
What are some things you do for bringing more positivity into your life?
Yes, so there was a time when I used to think that I can see all the negativity in the world. Like, I could see what he wants, which is in a negative sense, and what he wants from me, what he thinks about me, उसके क्या intentions है, इसके क्या intentions है, लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, दुनिया क्या हो रहा है. तो I could see every negative aspect, and I used to think an intelligent person who can see stuff like that can never be happy. This was my perception, which was wrong. Then suddenly one day it hit me, like, if I can see this much negativity around me, I can also see the positive. No, there's positive also. You cannot deny it. So अगर मेरे फ़ोन की स्क्रीन आज टूट गई और मैं बहुत दुखी हूँ, जब तक वो नहीं टूटी थी उसके लिए खुश क्यों नहीं हुआ मैं हर रोज़. So it is just about your perception. You should, there is nothing for you to do. Like, it is there in your head. You just, if you wish for it, if you want yourself to be positive and happy, you will be there. There is no question. It is just that people enjoy sadness and they don't understand. मतलब मैं अब किसी को बोलता हूँ तो अच्छा मैं पागल हूँ, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, मुझे इतना, मैं तो बहुत परेशान हूँ, ये है वो है. तो बाहर निकलो ना, कितनी चीज़ें हैं निकलने के लिए तुम्हारे लिए. तुम एक चीज़ को पकड़ के रो रहे हो, 50 चीज़ें ठीक है, उनको पकड़ के खुश हो जाओ. इट इज़ दैट सिंपल. बट आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट गेट्स क्लस्टर्ड इन द मोमेंट, but you should be able to go through it and look through it, you know, as it is, the problems and the solutions. So, yeah.
Right, that's very interesting because I remember reading this somewhere ki there is, you know, a pile of good and a pile of bad in your life.
Yeah.
So finding happiness and creating happiness is not about removing the pile of bad.
Of course.
It's about adding to the pile of
Right,
good.
right.
And it's about adding so much to the pile of good ki the pile of bad just becomes just a speck of dust.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's a very beautiful way of looking at it.
Yeah, and you don't have to pile up good. Like, you can have one good thing sitting here and a whole lot of negative stuff going on, and you can look here, don't look there. If you have one negative thing, like you're in a bad relationship and everything else is fine, you can still, you know, make your life go to hell.
Yeah.
Why can't you just make it the other way? So I think
Right. I think that's a very interesting perspective. So, talking about loneliness a little bit, how do you deal with loneliness? Because, you know, you have a very public persona,
Yeah.
obviously, and it's very easy for people to think कि इसके पास बहुत सारे लोग हैं, or like he's always surrounded by people, and you know, fans will be there and the team will be there. But when you're just with yourself, when it's just you by yourself, how do you deal with loneliness?
See, I was lonely at the time, and loneliness is not, it's not like something physical. Everything is mental. I'm sorry, but
No, facts, facts.
like if you have so many fans, if you have so many people around you all the time, you're not lonely. Believe me, loneliness is something else. When people say this, like artists, like I'm lonely in my place, इतनी सारी भीड़ है, इतना शोर शराबा है, बट मैं अकेला हूँ, तो वो एक्चुअली अकेला नहीं है, बहुत सारे लोग हैं भाई, ठीक है, बट वो चाहता नहीं है उन लोगों को अपनी ज़िंदगी में. इट इज़ सिंपली एज दैट. अब मैंने एक्चुअली लोनलीनेस प्रैक्टिस इसलिए कर ली थी, मैं चाहता नहीं था वो करना, बट सम हाउ मेरी ज़िंदगी में ऐसा टाइम आ गया था कि आई वॉज ऑल अलोन. ऑल अलोन भी नहीं था, मेरी फैमिली थी वहाँ पे, बट यू नो जो भी वही वाली बात है कि मैं चाह नहीं रहा था, जो चीज़ चाह रहा था वो नहीं थी, तो मैं लोनली हो गया. अब वो लोनलीनेस से कोप अप करने के लिए यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग, जो मुझे बाय फोर्स समझ आई थी, नॉट बाय विल, कि भाई अगर मैं अकेला हूँ, और काफ़ी लंबे समय तक मैं अकेला था, तो मुझे धीरे धीरे वो चीज़ समझ में आ गई कि दिक्कत क्या है. लाइक if you look at anything like this cup, like this light, or whatever, this board, there are so many things, you know, there to look at, to think about, you know, to think about yourself. You cannot figure out yourself in a lifetime. If you're lonely for like a year or something, or 2 years or whatever, like literally lonely, you're alone in a room, there is still a lot of stuff that you can do by doing nothing at all in your head. Everything is in our head, so there is still a lot of things. And you know, I used to laugh a lot when I was lonely, in the end, like not in the initial part I was really sad, but at the end it went like I used to be driving, and it sounds like, it sounds creepy, I know, but I used to literally laugh for nothing. There was no joke going on, there was nothing happening, and I'm driving and I'm laughing, literally laughing. If somebody would look through the window, he would be creeped out. So I used to
Did
be
that ever
this.
happen? Were you ever driving and were people looking at you and just like, what is
I,
going
I
on?
have no idea. It might have happened because it was happening a lot of times. But yeah, it was a fun time at the end. Like when I realized it, it was a great time, and I still miss that. Not like I miss that over this. This is, of course, this is better. There are people and everything like that. But वो भी एक टाइम बहुत ही स्पेशल और बहुत ही अच्छा था टू फिगर ऑल दिस आउट. दिस इज लाइक ये सब उसी समय से आया है.
Okay, I just have two more questions for you. One, where does your name Vilen come from?
Like when I was this lonely phase was going on, so there was this time when I realized like there has to be a balance, like what we were talking about, the negative and the positive. There has to be a balance in both of it. Like there was one time, I'm gonna explain this, it'll be a little longer if you want an honest answer.
Yes, I do.
So there was a time when I was actually a very negative person. I was getting into a lot of fights, I was doing all the wrong stuff, and people around me changed in a positive way. Like they used to respect me a lot, like they wanted me on their team and stuff like that. And when I went back to, okay, this is wrong, I should not be this negative, when I went back to being positive, it all came crashing. Like everyone, when like they were teasing me and stuff like that, and you know, it was like I went weak and they were up. It was like that. So I could not figure out, should I be bad or should I be positive? How does this work? So then I came to this conclusion that positive all the time, your perception of positive all the time doesn't work. What you need is necessary. If you need a beating, it should be a beating. It should not be love. Like, do you understand? If someone on the road is misbehaving with me, I cannot ऐसे ऐसे करके उनको समझा, this is my way, please don't take this personally. But अगर उसको ऐसे समझाओगे तो वो हो सकता है किसी और के साथ भी बदतमीजी करे. देयर इज़ अ लाइन, यू शुड टेल पीपल कि ये चीज़ ऐसे नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये चीज़ ऐसे होनी चाहिए. इफ़ यू हैव दैट अथॉरिटी एंड यू कैन डू इट, डू इट. लाइक यू कैन नॉट बी ऑल गुड. देर इज़, जो भी लोग ये सोचते हैं कि लोग अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरा होता है, तुम बेवकूफ़ हो. तुम अच्छी चीज़ें हर समय नहीं कर सकते. इट डजंट वर्क दैट वे. यू हैव टू बी रैशनल विद द सिचुएशन, कि जैसी सिचुएशन डिमांड कर रही है आप वैसे हो ना. If you cannot look through it, then you're just too stupid to understand that this situation demands this. Like अगर मेरे से कोई बदतमीजी कर रहा है, मैं प्यार से बात कर रहा हूँ, करता रहेगा ना बदतमीजी, वो क्यों रुकेगा. ही डजंट नो कि वो कुछ गलत कर रहा है. मेरी तो वो है कि भाई मैं उसको बताऊँ. तो दिस गुड एंड बैड थिंग वेंट इन एंड इट बिकेम द वन हॉर्न एंड वन विंग. सो that was that, and I wanted my perception to be negative because I don't want myself like मैं कोई preacher हूँ या मैं कोई बहुत, मैं कहता हूँ मैं गलत काम करता हूँ, मैं गलत इंसान हूँ. मेरी बात अगर आपको समझ आ रही है, काम आ रही है, प्लीज़ लो, नहीं आ रही मत लो. So this is.
I love that.
Thank you.
I genuinely really love that. Okay, last thing. What is the one single piece of advice that you want to give to anybody who's creating something at the moment? It could be music, could be art, could be a content creator. Just anybody who's young and is just starting out in the middle of their journey, wherever. What is one piece of advice you would give to them?
So they are creating stuff and they are creators. Don't be a product. Create products. I don't like my creation to be called as a product, but it's all right. But don't be a product by yourself. Like you're not a product. You're a creator. Create products if you want to, but don't be a product. So that's it.
I love that. It's been so good talking to you.
Thank you so much, Same.
Thank you.